Hey, hello everybody. In this quick video today, let's talk about marketing in a downturn or on all-weather marketing. Although there are a lot of specializations and special cases that we need to look into in terms of if it's a B2B business, B2C business, the kind of target audience, personas, size of companies, verticals, industries, and sub-verticals, and so on that you target. There are a few fundamentals or core principles that are applicable to all the businesses, as a matter of fact, even to retail investors. So let's look at the fundamentals and principles. And should we be marketing? If so, what are a few things that we need to take into consideration? So, number one, can we precisely time the market or predict a downturn or a recession? The answer is we can look into the statistics and numbers and understand where the economy is headed, kind of look into numbers like inflation and so on, but we cannot time the bottom of the market. We cannot time and say, no, the market has actually hit its rock bottom. So, should companies market during a recession? Now, can we time it? Not really. We cannot time the rock bottom of the market, but we do understand from stats such as inflation and so on as to the trends of the market and the market sentiments. And what should we do? Now, looking into the history, the companies that have gained the largest market share during recessions are the ones that were aggressively marketing during the recessions. It's so true with the retail investors as well. There's a saying, an investor that puts money into the market during upturn when the markets are growing end up making a little bit of money, but the investors that put money into the market during a recession or a downturn come out making a ton of wealth on the other side of the recession. And so true with marketing and companies as well. Companies that continue to market, companies that continue to acquire customers during the recession come out with a massive market share gain on the other side of the recession. It's only because a lot of companies would probably pause their net new customer acquisition programs. And the companies that are aggressive, they get an opportunity to start to acquire a lot of new customers during this period. And on the other side of the recession, when it's over, they have the largest market share gain. Now, in some cases, depending on the kind of business that you are and the kind of target audience that you cater to, you might have to fine tune or retune your audience and the offering that you have still being in your core business. And to talk about an example as to what I mean, during the most recent market downturn that we had to some extent early 2020 during the pandemic stage, we know that a lot of companies came out on the other side with the largest market share gain. Some of the companies unfortunately had to go out of business, and there was a bunch of them that really didn't see any growth. They had to go through a lot of challenges in terms of customer acquisition, retention, and so on. Again, depending on the kind of businesses that we're talking about. One of the examples that I'm personally aware of is a company that's been in business for about 25 years. This is a company that does both designs, both installations, graphic designs, and so on. So, in essence, everything that's to do with the conferences and trade shows. This is a company that used to take up a lot of clients, go in, set up their booths, design to booth making to implementation and logistics and transportation involved. Now, we all know that in 2020, when the pandemic hit, one of the first things that every company stopped doing was physically being present in any of those events or conferences. So a lot of companies in this space, such as the case that I'm talking about, were literally out of business. There was no company or no sector in the world that was actually active in physical exhibitions, conferences, and trade shows. Now, the example that I'm talking about here, in this case, the CEO of the company, in about 2, 3 months into this, quickly realigned the warehouses, the manufacturing capacity that they had, into doing interiors and modular kitchens and pantries and remodeling some of the office spaces. Most of the offices use this as an opportunity since employees were not working from office to quickly redo the designs and redo their interiors. So leveraging the warehouse that they had, leveraging the expertise that they had in bookmaking, and leveraging the stocks that they had, they quickly realigned, used the window of opportunity to fine tune their offering, and they massively grew during that 2 years. And then the other side of pandemic today, since the events are back in action, they started offering both of these, and they are slightly larger as a business today than they were getting into 2020. So essentially, what we learn from this example is, in some cases, and depending on the offering that you have and the kind of target audience that you reach out to, just aggressively getting into your marketing during a downturn will mean a largest market share gain for you on the other side of the downturn. Versus in some cases, depending on the offering, we might have to fine tune, retune, realign, and slightly modify the audience that we are catering to and are offering some itself, and gain or capture the market share than the competitors does. In essence, if you are a company that is profitable, if you are a company that has the resources and means to accelerate your marketing, you should be actively marketing during a downturn. And on the other side of the downturn, you are going to definitely gain the largest market share gain that you've witnessed in history. So, in essence, the other way to look at it is your return on investment is going to be the best ever, as compared to a regular time period marketing versus the marketing during a downturn. So if you're cash rich, if you have the resources and means to pump a little more effort and resources into marketing during a downturn, you should certainly do it. You will certainly witness a higher market share gain on the other side of the downturn.